were there, weren't they?
Yeah, which is pretty cool. It's like 5 of us all staying in a house right now. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So like Lou, Ellen, and Lauren, they all there?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
say hi to everyone.
I will.
Okay, I know you're out of it, but I'm just going to ask you to think about something straight
Yes.
away. Which was on your sheet. You have that you want something from Hayes. Can I ask you to think about what that is?
I want something from Hayes.
Yes.
Ah, yes. Did we talk about it before, or did we just say that I wanted something?
No, I think it was just that you wanted something.
Okay.
I'll give you some time to think about that, and I will just go over for yourself and Tejas. I heard Matthias doing a little bit of it, but I don't know how much was recaps. I'll just to refresh Matthias and Bethany and my memory as well. So Matthias managed to, Kanaloa managed to get to the shore, and what did you do last week, Kanaloa? You just kind of
my tattoo got burned off.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was washed up on some shore.
It
just turned out to be the shore where
that was it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So you were washed up on the same island that the prince's men were taking Hayes, Bethany's character, to in order for her to be picked up by someone else, unknown sources. You don't know who that was, or you eventually found out later it was the prince's men. Kanaloa tried a rescue. It went horribly wrong, and you got badly injured, didn't you?
Yes.
And then Hayes managed to drag you off in a sort of the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of a way. But then realized once you actually got on board that you were the person who was responsible for tattooing them in the first place. Yes. I am just going to... So just pop that link in the folder. You then went to get re-tattooed, and that was about the same point that there was a giant riot going on in the city, wasn't it? So you two spent a little while trying to get back to the city and just hang low for a bit. At the same time, we had a guest character last week, Crow, who was one of the priest characters, and they met with the prince, who was the bad guy of the piece, and flat out murdered him. I was a bit like, what? But it was good, because I think this game in particular works best when people do big, brash, Game of Thronesy style stuff. And that caused riots all over the city. And there is now the king, who is Haka'ula. Was Haka'ula, was that the king, or was Haka'ulash the king, Matthias? I can't remember.
Eha was the king.
Haku'eha. Haku'eha has gone into hiding with all of his followers and stuff like that. The Crow, the priest, then kidnapped Haku'eha's daughter and took her to the rest of the priests, led by a woman called Zar. Zar... Then everyone rolled sixes the whole night. Zar then killed the princess, saying she was a liability, and teleported herself and Crow to straight where Hayes and Matthias were. Oh, there was a giant storm you guys caused at one point. That happened. You teleported, and Zar sucked all of the power out of Crow, completely stealing all of his magical abilities from him. Matthias at this point had then gone to...
So the only successful thing was getting a tattoo back, in a way successful.
Yes.
But it's now a red line that goes to here and then cuts across the face.
Yes, Matthias was Kanaloa was in the process of getting re-tattooed when the storm happened, which then blew up the tent he was in. So his tattoo is going down beautifully all the way down here and then just strikes across his face as like giant scarification. Bethany's character Hayes was running away through the forest while she was being tracked by the Faceless, which is our way of bringing Esther back. Is it Esther, Safi? Esther back into it. And Matthias went to find the king, didn't you, to try
I was
and...
like, well, okay, I'm just gonna go and talk to my patron now and
Yeah.
tell him about my son,
Yes.
about his son, right?
And the king blamed Canaloa entirely for what had happened, and the last thing that we ended on was Canaloa about to have his throat cut.
Yeah.
By one of the king's men.
Good.
So it went super, super well last week.
I mean, running through the woods pursued by faceless assassins was the best of all of our outcomes.
You had the best outcome, right? Yeah.
Like that was a good roll.
Yeah. One of the characters is a withered husk with all his tattoos, and when she stole the power from him, all of his tattoos leached off and went into her tattoos, and they were kind of like wound up and into each other, and ended up being more complex versions of the same tattoos.
Oh dang, that's awesome.
It was a good ending. It started off a little slowly, but it ended well because no one rolled anything, which in Powered by the Apocalypse games is
It's a good thing, yeah.
it is, yeah.
A little sad I missed it, but
oh no, it was good, and the one you were in was good as well. So and you get to come back for the finale.
yeah.
Also, you probably would have just killed Crow, so the whole thing would have been it would have been a lot shorter. Okay, so Sophie, do you have an idea of what it is that you want from Hayes?
Yeah. The thing I want from Hayes, I think, is either Hayes, do you have particularly long hair?
That is a good question. I have no idea. Probably not.
I didn't think so.
Why are we asking about the hair?
Because I either wanted like 30 centimeters of hair or the top of her pinky finger.
Why that thing specifically?
I'm not too sure. I just feel like the more specific, the weirder it is.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm a pretty weird character.
Okay.
But definitely some sort of magical purposes.
Yeah, excellent. What I'm looking for in it is something to put you kind of at odds with your faction. And the top of a pinky finger could absolutely be that, because it could be something that another client has hired you to do sort of independently of your faction.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So everyone ready?
Hell yeah.
And Matthias, have you had a chance to look at the Beloved playlist playbook?
Yep.
What do you think?
Potentially, yeah. Well, why were you thinking of the Beloved?
I was thinking Beloved because of just a particular weird story place that I wanted to take your character.
Sure.
If you're happy to kind of go with it, cool. Okay. So you don't have to don't redo the whole playbook. You're still kind of lower, but you can maybe just move some points into Arcane, get that Harness the Unspeakable Power move, and pick one of the other moves instead of your standard Liar moves, which you had previously. Okay, let's do highlighted stats and entanglements. So it's Sophie and Matthias, if you want to choose Bethany's highlighted stats. Sophie and Tejas, if you want to choose Matthias's highlighted stats. Tejas and Bethany, if you want to choose Sophie's highlighted stats. And Matthias and Bethany, if you choose Tejas' highlighted stats. And I will tell you what your entanglements are. Okay. I mean, the entanglements aren't going to make much difference because this is our last session, but they're fun to do anyway. So, Matthias, yours is to openly denounce someone powerful as an enemy of it to their face or in a way that they will hear about. So, it is going to be, well, it will become immediately apparent what it is.
Yes.
Sophie, yours is going to be murder an enemy to better your own situation. Tejas, you're the spur, aren't you?
Sorry, I was juggling windows. I think I needed to do somebody else that I must have missed. Did you ask me to do Sophie and someone else?
I asked you to do Sophie and...
So it looks like everybody's got 2 highlighted, so...
There should be, yeah. So you would have done Sophie and Bethany, possibly?
Oh, she's got 2 highlighted, so we can...
Okay, cool. So if everyone's got 2 highlighted, I might have just... Yeah.
Sorry.
So, Hayes, yours is... take out someone who's become inconvenient to you using your magic.
Okay.
And Tejas, yours is going to be... I'm going to go for threaten someone powerful with a fight without considering the consequences again, because that's a nice big bold one. And I don't think we actually got to see it last time when we chose that.
Okay.
Right, so Yester, you wake up and you kind of, the last time we saw you, you were drifting into the depths of the black poisonous oceans,
right,
of the seas all around you, in the arms of your ex-lover Kanaloa.
Huh.
Now, can you tell me what tattoos you had previously?
I think that I had mostly... I had some on my face, but because I'd kind of gone against my benefactor at some point, there was a lot of sort of coloring over and destruction of those kind of old sort of tattoos of station. And I think because of that, I've kind of taken more to putting my exploits on my arms.
Okay.
Nothing that has really become in a full sleeve yet, because it's so just not what is normally done. And I'm kind of figuring out how I want to do it. But yeah, I think things have migrated down.
You wake up and the first thing you notice is that you're not in the sea anymore. You are in a small tent. The second thing you notice as you kind of spring up is that your skin is kind of red raw and all of your tattoos have gone. All of the vast artwork, the huge amounts of work that you've put into the tattoos on your arm, and you feel up at your face, and you can kind of feel that your face is raw and patchy, and it feels like you've been dipped in acid, which essentially you have. You're kind of messed up at the minute. You were down there for a lot longer than Kanaloa, who was somehow washed ashore. What's the last thing you remember about being under?
I feel like, in that very movie sense, there's that image from underneath, where it's her sort of floating down with arms and legs sort of out, those last few bubbles sort of going up, and then the haze of light kind of translating from the point where you can see the surface to the point where you no longer can, like everything is just getting more diffuse. And it's, she doesn't know if it's her eyes going dark or if it's her not being able to see the light above the surface anymore. Okay. Maybe with some sort of like big fish coming at her.
Yeah. It's that shot. Except for at the same time we can see your tattoos just kind of sizzling and burning off and drifting out like little ink trails through the water. So you're kind of leaving a trail of ink as you go down. Nice. And what you see rather than a fish is you see 2 gators coming towards you. But these are friendly gators. Thankfully, they are your warband's armored gators. Because as Black Panther has told us if you get a badass animal and put armor on it, it makes it even better. And his dark materials, everything's better than that. So the last thing you see is these two of your warband's crocodiles coming down to rescue you.
Okay.
And you wake up, and you're not in a tent actually. You are in like a dimly lit back room. What do you do?
I think my first reaction is to sort of jump up and grab at my back for my lance, just assuming that something has gone, terribly wrong before memories start sinking in. And then, kind of have a guttural war cry that sort of freezes on my lips when I realize, wait, let me just take, stock of what's going around me.
You're going to make, you're in pain still, and you're furious that this has happened to you, and this war cry starts to come out, and then it just kind of chokes in your throat. But it still sounds like it's happening, and you can kind of hear it, and then you realize that there's screaming and shouting and destruction going on outside wherever you are. What do you do?
The first thing I do is look down and around me to see where I am and if there's something that I can put into my hands, and then go outside to see what's going on.
Okay. Is that a move, do you think? Yeah, let's go for a study situation there.
Okay.
If anyone dings your 5 XP during the session, by the way, feel free to just take another move and let me know you got it. If we're in the middle of another scene, just pop it in chat so that I know that's happened.
Is that the basic moves? I wasn't sure which.
Yeah, that's going to be the basic moves, yeah.
Okay.
It's on page 2 of the basic moves.
Page 2, study a situation. Plus sly. Oh, well, that means I just fail. That's a 6.
Okay, cool. You hear all of this going on outside. And before you can act, before you can get yourself together, the door is kicked in, and people start rushing into where you are and just smashing it, stealing stuff. And 2 of your warband, you can see, rush in from another room, which is further connected to this one, and start battling them. We will leave that there for a second.
Okay.
Where is Esther right now?
I imagine is the pursuit of Hayes still going on? Is that a thing?
Do you want to be a part of that pursuit?
I think so. I think I might have come in a little bit late, but I think I would have.
So, Hayes, you are here too. So, Hayes was. You were kind of running out of the main town, weren't you, into the forests, which were like up on a hill, I think?
Yeah, I had just escaped from Zar, I think was her name.
Yes, Zar you were escaping from, yeah. Okay, so you were heading into the hills, and then they weren't necessarily chasing you, but there were people, there were all of the faceless running alongside you at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so Esther, where are you in this?
I imagine I'm probably a little bit behind so that she doesn't recognize me. Hayes is a she.
They.
All right, sorry. So that they don't recognize me, and just kind of staying close, watching what the Black Hood does, and also watching them.
Okay, I think you are probably, if you're trying to specifically avoid Hayes's eye, I think you're facing duress at that point.
Yep. All right, let me roll for duress. I don't have the basic moves up at the moment. What's the duress roll with?
That is plus steady.
Plus steady. It doesn't look too bad. Ah, that's good. I have good steady. Okay. 6, 7. I got 8.
You get an 8. Okay, cool. So Hayes is far too concerned at this point with getting away from Zar and who the hell these guys are. You two have a bit of a history, but she's never met any of the rest of them, I believe. Does that sound right, Hayes?
Yes. Yeah, that's
Well,
correct.
certainly not in this quantity. This is more assassins than you want to see in any one place.
Right.
So she doesn't see you. However, you all, when you move like this, when you all get together like this, you move in a very sort of patterned, like military almost way. Like you see like the SAS guys going through the jungle and stuff like that. It's very much that sort of thing. You are noticeably holding back, and several of your squad members notice that you're holding back and that you don't want her to see you, which is weird. It's a weird sort of, it's kind of like the tiger holding back from the gazelle at this point.
Yeah.
Tigers and gazelles, I just realized, don't live anywhere near each other, but you get the
That's
you know
fine.
what I meant.
Yeah. Oh no, this isn't good.
Hayes, what are you doing at this point?
I think I'm more afraid of Zara than I am of these strange assassin people in the woods. So I think I'm just
I
how
think
far
that
is
sounds fair. Where are you trying to get to?
how far is the water from here?
If you sprint for it, not too far. It's probably about 500 meters.
That's where I'm going then.
Okay, so you just like heading off and diving into the water? Is that your plan, or are you just trying to like steal
I'm trying
away
to get
somehow?
some water because that's kind of the source of my magic.
Oh, yes, of course it is. Yeah. Okay. So Esther, what are you doing about that?
I feel like I need to, I don't so I don't think I want to kill you because I want something from you.
Right.
So, but I can't take on all of the Black Hood, and they're also my people.
They are.
So I'll probably just keep running and just if they start attacking, just be prepared to kind of accidentally miss.
Yeah. You could let them capture her and then ferret her away afterwards. That's an option.
That's true. That might be best. All right.
Hayes, it occurs to you that Zar isn't chasing you.
Right.
And that given that she teleported to come and find you, that strikes you as kind of odd.
Yeah, it does.
Why do you think that might be?
Yeah, I didn't see the whole thing with Crow. So I didn't know that like why she didn't to start with.
Yeah. Okay.
And I guess at this point I don't know that she's after me specifically. So I think she just like I'm not that important.
You don't necessarily know that, but she did appear straight in front of you and like look at you and kind of say you and was like going for you. So
So
it was a brief.
She's not hiding it.
It was admittedly brief, but it's new information. So it's basically those things. I think we're gonna have to Bethany, if you roll face duress.
Okay. Are we using a particular site, or are we? I asked this last week, didn't I?
Any one you want.
Okay.
It's not crabs.
All right. That is. Tell me that's a plus one. Okay. It's a 9.
That's 9. Okay. You're running the fastest that you've ever run in your life. You're just full of adrenaline and all other sorts of chemicals that you didn't even know were there previously. Hayes is not like an active person. She's mostly, they mostly stay in their thing, in their hut. And you are just sprinting pretty much the fastest that anyone has run up this particular hill. You can outrun, you think, the Black Hoods because they seem to be going fairly. They don't seem to be trying to get ahead of you. They just seem to be trying to get alongside you. but you've miscalculated which part of the shore that you're going to get up on, and you're going to get to the edge of a cliff.
Oh,
when
great.
you get there. Now, the water's there below you. You could dive down into it and hope that you get out before it starts really eating into you. But there's the position you find yourself in, and Esther, you catch up at that point as well. And the Black Hood or the Faceless are sort of forming a circle around Hayes, thinking that they've got her, and she's considering maybe jumping. Kanaloa,
Yep.
you.
Oh,
The last thing you heard was cut his throat.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
What I said?
They cut your throat.
Yeah.
You're just about to try and say something, and you just feel this, and you have this moment where you think, "Oh, that doesn't feel too bad."
Why can't
Like,
I speak? Where's my
Yeah.
words?
That's exactly that. Yeah, so you can't realize why you can't speak, and then you kind of feel this warmth, and you can feel the warmth all over your chest, and you look down, and your own blood is just pouring all over your chest. And then something weird happens, weirder than everything else that has gone before so far. The blood that's coming out of you, there's way too much, way too much coming out of you. And everyone else seems to have like paused around you. Everyone is still in the same tableau that they were when they last said it. The king is sort of still there, still there with his arm raised, giving the order for you to die. All of the guards around you just pointing spears at you, but just kind of like in a frozen tableau. It's like that bit in. Have you seen A Matter of Life and Death? A movie about the Air Force pilot. Well, you can imagine, kind of like that little sort of like that split second Matrix bullet time thing. But this blood is still coming out of you. What do you do?
I'm basically scooping hands full red, like it's as if like, holding my hands underneath a fountain.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a red fountain coming. Yeah.
Yeah, you do that, and this I realize I should say at this point, X card's still on the table because I'm suddenly describing very great things. So you're trying to catch it, and you can't, and it's just it's spilling out of your hands, and it's spilling all over the floor, and it's like it's flooding the room. Your blood, you're flooding the room with your blood, and it's filling up and up and up and up and up and up, and then you find yourself like submerged in your own blood, and then you're back in the oceans, and you find yourself briefly back where you were when you were floating in the ocean opposite Yester again, and then Yester is pulled away from you, and you're pulled further down into the oceans, and then you start to see things. You start to see things in the dark. It's black down here. It's like dark blackness, but some bits of it seem darker than the rest of it. If you see what I mean, there's like you can't see anything, and then there are areas of it where you can see less than nothing, and in that you start to see the shapes, and you start to see these titanic creatures moving, taller than mountains. They look like mountains walking, and you realize that you are seeing the birth of the world, and you can see the Glycine walking here and there, and they stand, and you know that they know you're there. But they're not paying any. It's not that they're not paying attention to you. They don't react to you, but you know that they know you're there. It's like if it's like a human with a mouse in a room, and then you see the entire creation of the world, and then you see the Sorcerer Kings, the true Sorcerer Kings, 10 of them, 5 men, 5 women, swooping up and flying. And battling the Glycine and tearing out their hearts. And you see, in what seems like a blink of a second, you see the rest of human history. And you see them hide the hearts, and you see the Sorcerer Kings start the society that you're living in today. And then you see the supposedly immortal Sorcerer Kings die because they're just humans. And then you see the priests keep this mythos going, and keep the myth of the the Sorcerer King's going for years beforehand. And you pull yourself up out of the water and just sort of flying through the air as you kind of pull yourself through the water, and then you realize that you keep swimming up and up and up and up, and then you realize that you're past where the water ends and you're still just swimming up.
Mhm.
And it's actually quite a long while ago. And you recognize the islands where you are, but none of the buildings are there. And your skin has been dyed entirely what color?
That copper green, right?
Okay, so
it's copper.
Yeah. So your skin has been dyed entirely an antioxidant green color. Okay, Tejas, we're going to do a little flashback scene now. Now you are your deal was that you thought that the Sorcerer King stuff was bullshit, basically, didn't you? That was your reason for rebelling.
Well, not just that, as much as I felt that it was the fact that they were holding it over us. It was like the lie to keep us controlled.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that if we had always known it was bullshit, it would be one thing, but it was like a super deliberate lie, which made me, and in the name of that lie, I've done terrible things. Like that sort of being slapped in the face with it was hard.
Okay. So this is a while ago now. So when was it that you and Kanaloa broke up?
I'd say that, like, she's probably been on her own for 2 years now.
Okay.
I mean, it's, she's had enough time to sort of establish herself, kind of make a name for herself, and then kind of feel the vacuum of not having what she used to have.
Okay, so this is 2 years ago. This is just before. Oh, sorry, Matthias, what were you going to say?
This reminds me of an important detail from last time. The
Was
reason
that the reason you broke up? I was just going to say this, yeah.
Yeah, good, okay.
Okay. But no, feel free to tell him.
Oh, yeah, last time we found out that that information tattooed onto Hayes was the last favor I did for you.
Oh.
To basically write down that secret.
Because
that's also what got me killed.
Yes,
No.
ultimately, yeah.
Does Yesta know that? Or
does Yesta doesn't know that? Or does Yesta know that that's why Kanaloa broke up with her?
Yeah, that the secret is there and that Hayes has it. Okay.
Yeah. We decided retroactively that you were the person that asked her to put it onto Hayes.
Okay.
So you have been searching for answers and searching for the truth of what the real story is and what they've been holding back for you. And you've heard of this this prophet who is beloved of the dark waters, who lives in they live in a ruined temple on one of the islands. And you've gone to see them. Who have you taken with you?
Well, I think that I've probably taken the 3 toughest of my guys. Just like the 3 that I feel like not necessarily like have my back the most, although I feel like they all do, but the 3 that I feel like if something untoward were to suddenly happen, they're the ones who are going to react the fastest, hit the hardest.
Okay, cool. So you find this temple. It looks as if it's been... It's called a temple, but it looks as if it's been built by hand, all through the work of one person. It's kind of slightly shambolic, and it's got vines and trees growing as like part of it, but at the same time, it feels like it's been there for a while. Are you going in by yourself, or are you taking your party in with you?
I think I'm just heading in first. I think we've all got this sort of anarchic way of dealing with each other that, they're with me. They'll probably come with me. I'm assuming that they'll back me up when they get around to it, but I'm I don't give a sign unless I need something.
Okay. And you enter. And it's lit by candlelight. Or no, it's lit by the burning the water, because the water itself is flammable. So it's lit by that. And so you've got these flickering shadows all around. And at the same time, there's kind of essence burning. And sitting in the center of a room is a creature that you don't recognize. Matthias, tell us what Kanaloa looks like some 300 years after he pulls himself out of the water.
Right, there's that picture, but he's now still long hair, but it's gone completely white. His skin color is like that link it's that copper turned into that Turkish green, right?
Mm-hmm.
That turquoise. And but like he was never a large man or particularly strong, but now he's really frail, thin, and even hunched over.
And Yester, even though you're currently in a relationship with exactly this man in a different part of time and island, you don't recognize him, because there's no reason you should. It doesn't look anything like Kanaloa, really. And also, you know where Kanaloa is.
Over there. Why would it be
Kanaloa
here?
is over there. Yeah,
Right.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got that. Let's cut back briefly to Esther and Hayes and see what they're up to. Esther, you can see what the rest of them can't see, which is that you think you've known Hayes for a little while, and you've seen her do some wild stuff, both whilst you were escaping from Kanaloa originally, and during the escape from the island, where she turned a guy into a fucking wolf. So she is not someone who is just going to stand here and do this. So you know that she might make a jump for it. What are you doing?
Yeah. I'm going to very just discreetly pull up one of my daggers and lace it in a special type of poison, and then just throw it so it grazes her arm.
Oh, okay.
Their arm.
Do you have you got a special blacksmith move for that?
I do. It's called just a spot of indigestion.
Okay.
When you
cool.
poison a victim, roll sly. So let's
imagine
do
you
it.
have good
This
sly
can
as
only
well.
go well. I rolled a 7, and my sly is... Oh, my sly is 2. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, I got 9.
Okay, what do you get on a 9 for that move?
So on a 7 to 9, choose 2. So I'm going to make it look like something else happened to the victim.
Okay.
And it deals harm within the exact time frame I want it to, up to 1 day.
Okay. So I'm assuming from what you said, you don't actually want it to do any harm.
No, I want it to make her fall asleep.
You wanted to knock her out. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then
so
fall asleep.
Hayes, you're, I guess, thinking about going for it.
Yeah, I was totally planning on it, and then
As I throw it, I'm not going to say anything, but I feel like we've worked together enough that you're just going to see me go.
yeah, okay.
So what do you do? I'm giving you the couple of milliseconds before this dagger hits you to react.
This is so stupid, but this is totally what the character would do.
That's what you got to go with.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still try to jump off the cliff.
Okay, go for it. Roll me a face to
Where's
rest.
the trust?
All right.
Where's the
So
trust?
because of the rolls, the dagger is going to hit you, and it is going to
Oh,
work.
no.
But let's see how your roll goes first.
You're going to be knocked out in the water.
I know, right? That's an 11, so I assume
That's
I
an 11.
survived this.
Yes, you do. Okay, so how do you survive that? Because you are going to get you are going to get nicked, and you are going to fall at the same time. So if you describe how you miraculously survive.
I think just the.
I think I might know actually. If
Okay.
and sorry, unless you had something.
No, go ahead.
No. Okay. I think you're falling, and you can feel yourself falling both physically and into unconsciousness as you're plummeting off this cliff, and then you just feel someone catch you, and you look down and you see a man with white hair and copper-colored skin.
Nice.
Oh,
So Esther, that didn't go as you hoped.
no,
What happened?
no.
What do you do?
Just quickly, in the spot of indigestion, I chose that the something else that looked like it happened to the victim. I wanted it to make it look like they had been like killed.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, now I look like I drowned, so.
yeah, yeah. What do I do? Probably, I don't think the Black Hood talk much when they're on like a mission like this. So we're probably just like almost like clockwork without talking, just like split up and start going down to the base of the cliff. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. In my head, it's just like super creepy, imagining like everyone just like looking for a second and then standing up.
Yes.
And then just turning and going down, like exactly the same footing. Like it's just
bad. Who is the person, even if it's yourself actually, that Hayes' fingertip is for?
I think I want it, but there's also someone who's hired me to get it.
Okay. Do you want to say who that is?
Sure. Do we have like a list of NPCs that we have at the moment?
We don't actually have that many. A lot of them are dead. We've got Zar, but it can't be her for reasons which will become apparent shortly.
Yeah.
And we've got Hester Aha. I think is the only other living NPC other than Tejas' crew. So you can just make someone up if you like.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna call them Spective.
Spective. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they've gone through me for a couple of other things before.
Okay, and why do they terrify you?
I know that although they look simple and unthreatening to the untrained eye, they have certain movements that just like just little things that even like moving their hand in like a certain position that I know that like they are always thinking of the next way to kill the person nearest to them.
Okay, cool. So you are there and you're all spreading out, like you say, like clockwork. And then you can see flying overhead your client. Not Spective, Zar, the person who has hired the Black Hood to find Hayes. She was the person who hired you originally because the prince's men were going to kidnap Hayes because he wanted to use her to blackmail his dad, didn't he? And they want to just keep up the myth. So they sent you to go and get Hayes before that happened.
Boy.
So now you can see this incredibly powerful sorcerer flying overhead. And then she swoops down amongst you as you're scattering out, and she looks absolutely fucking furious. What do you do?
I don't think all of us will stop, but I think one person from one of the split parties will stop, and I'll stop to address her.
Okay. She swoops down in front of you, and at that point we will cut back to Tejas and Kanaloa. Okay, so we are in that temple 2 years ago. Matthias, are you comfortable doing a little bit of that scene where you convince Yester of the right path of the lies? Do you want to do a little bit of that scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Sure.
Okay. So, Yester, you are in this temple. You have found the person whose wisdom you have been seeking. What are you doing?
I think that I come in sort of warily, and then, I feel like, all of this has been, a long time coming. What's the point of being cautious? And I just sort of, throw my chest out and stare at this creature person. I'm not sure what to call it, but stride
It could kind of
forward.
look like a creature, like you say. There's a imagine, if you will, like if Gollum was super hot. I think is the best way of looking at it.
That's actually also how he moves. Like there's no like turning in elegance or anything like that. No, I actually kind of rush you.
Oh, that's creepy.
With no mind for like, oh, this is my space, this is your space. No, I rush you to get like up really close.
Okay, I probably sort of, Toreador expect a need to dance away, and then he stops right in front of me, or it stops right in front of me, and just for that moment, I've got a little bit of a question, but then I'm like, no, and I kind of look in his face and I say, well, what does it mean then? We're here, we've come, we're looking. The history says that the kings of old say that the world is like this, but that cannot be true. It can't be true if... And I kind of like think of the transgressions I've made and sort of list off if Cathara died so easily, if the so and so have fallen, and kind of just it's kind of like a vomiting of all of my like unladening of sin.
At Kanaloa, do you recognize Yester? It's been 300 years.
Yes.
Okay.
But and you might even feel a little bit of familiarity once I open my eyes. I rushed you with eyes closed. That wasn't
so creepy.
immediately apparent because I've got those oxidized concentric circles going all like around my face, right? And then I basically open onto like there's a circle on my eyelids, and then I open actually have eyes that kind of feel familiar, but the rest of the face is like really fallen in, and I think I go, yes, time's finally here.
I will take a half step back just because I'm surprised that, it knows my name, and my knuckles sort of whiten on my lance, but I say, the time for what? What is finally here?
The time for you to fulfill your purpose in this, what you've been yearning for.
My purpose so far has been to ram this lance through things' chests. I don't think that's what you have in mind.
Yes. They all need to be toppled.
Who? I mean, the master and I name the king that we work for, because I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it's probably Hester Aha.
Hester Aha. I say Hester Aha has had his enemies fall. We have taken those who need to be dealt with. We now seek the secrets that will let him gain his final dominance. What else could there be other than this nagging itch that these things need to be done despite their...
Yes. All the others, but him too. And the priesthood.
What? They all must fall? Why?
The only truth is the darkness of the depths.
Nice. Okay. And you describe all the things you've seen and all the things you know.
Yeah.
And you tell him of all of you tell him the real truth. And Yester, hearing it from this person who appears to be probably mad and maybe not human, but it just sounds so utterly true. There's a little bit of confirmation bias because you were kind of expecting something to be wrong, but it's just he tells it with such vividness that you know it to be true.
I kind of like the idea of there's something that bothers me about it all, but something about his eyes makes me feel that it's right.
And we then cut briefly to Kanaloa tattooing Hayes and looking up at you with those same eyes. But those eyes are now filled with sort of like sorrow and hatred because you're making her tattoo blasphemy on this person. Hayes, how did Kanaloa come across you?
I think I had gone to the main island with some sort of ambition of like making something of myself and failed miserably. So I kind of just hired myself out as a messenger, and I'm huge, so lots of expanse to tattoo, right?
Yes, of course, that was the thing, wasn't it, with Hayes? Yeah. Okay. And the yeah, okay. So you've had tattoos before. So you've got your tattoo of obedience. But there's a saying that in these islands that the truth hurts, and the truer a tattoo is, the more it hurts. And so as Kanaloa is tattooing the absolute fundamental truth of the universe on you, it is just this almost blissful transcendental pain that you're undergoing right now. And it kind of breaks Hayes's mind. What do you do anything? What do you do?
I think I'm unable to do anything for the time that he's tattooing me.
Okay.
I probably start seeing visions.
Yep. Yeah, you do, and you see visions of the copper-skinned, white-haired man, and you see him carrying you across from a beach towards his temple, and then you realize that these aren't visions you're having. This is what's happening now, and what was happening previously was you remembering, and you were on the beach and you're being carried. What are you doing?
Did I actually land in the water?
No, you didn't. You just got caught by Kanaloa.
Um,
Kanaloa, are you still going by Kanaloa, or have you changed your name?
I don't know, because there's like no one to talk to for 300 years?
About 300 years, yeah.
Yeah, I had no interactions.
Do you remember your name? You remembered Yester's name, but I think it's kind of sweet if you've remembered hers but forgotten your own.
Yeah, like I would probably, if someone addressed me, and that would stop me in my tracks. But
yeah,
not as such.
Okay, Hayes, what are you doing?
I think I do ask, who are you? And
I'm like grunting.
And
the weight, like you're a huge person,
right? Yes.
You and yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you two are walking off. Esther, you were just about to talk to Zar. What do you do as she lands in front of you? She just doesn't say anything. She just kind of stands there looking furious. It's a bit like being called to the headmaster's office.
Yeah, I'll probably take just a small step back to like kind of give her a space, and Oh boy. I guess she's sort of my enemy.
She is, yeah.
But
She is, because you guys would have missed the description. She is a particularly dark-skinned, very, very tall woman with these long braids up in a kind of top knot of braids, and she is covered in more than usual in like these rippling red tattoos. And as you look at them, the tattoos seem to like shimmer and move and kind of rearrange themselves into different patterns.
oh, well, that's cool.
So, what do you do?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I want to kill her, but but I'll start by threatening with force.
Oh, sweet. Okay, go for it. What do you do?
Yeah. So I'm just going to, as I step back, as I've learned from Spective, the kind of ways to move my hands, because instead of payment, they kind of taught me how to also act in a similar way. So just kind of without words, kind of threaten her with my position, and the people around me kind of know how to react in the situation because we've all kind of trained together. So they'll kind of almost surround her.
Do you rank quite highly in your cult?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
So
the
that's-
highest, but
But that's
like
why it
one
came
of the
to you.
persons that would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be like, they trust me to stay behind and talk to
Talk to the
or
client. Yeah.
get rid of. Yeah.
Okay, so you're just doing this mysterious thing with your hands that she would recognize. Okay, so roll your threat with force.
Oh boy. Oh, what's it with? I rolled an 8. I'm rolling well. Fierce.
Fierce.
I think I have 0 fierce. Yeah, okay, so it's just a straight 8.
Okay. Just going to look at what the options are.
Yeah. Is this something that you choose the outcome of?
Your target will choose one, so yeah, that's
If
something I
would
choose.
one. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Laugh at you. Okay.
I am very tempted to go with that last option, cool though it seems.
Yeah. No, do it if that's what she would do.
She smiles and says, I know what you're doing. I appreciate is Esther a he or she or they? I can't remember. They were they, aren't they?
Yeah, they, because the faceless is like a third gender.
Of course, yeah, that's what we did. I appreciate a person who steps up. But if you try and put those fingers on me, I will snap them off and feed them to my children. Do you understand?
Oh. The way of the faceless.
You're going to stab her, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I
not her
have to.
fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to touch her with my fingers. And that's what I'll say when her corpse is there. Okay. Yeah. I think that's just a flat roll for me. I don't have a move for that. I'm just going to engage in combat.
Engage in combat.
It's fierce again. I've
It
been
is.
rolling really well tonight, so I feel like this is when it goes to shit. Oh no. Oh, I rolled another 8. What is this? Things are going kind of well. Choose one. Oh goodness. Okay, I think I might do I have vigor? Don't think so.
Oh, attack with vigor just means that you attack particularly.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Strongly.
all right. I think I will for the first one attack with vigor because I'm quite. Actually, no. I'll attack aggressively because I'm quite like she threatened me.
Okay, right. So yeah, you just Well, how do you fight when you attack aggressively? What does that look like for you?
So instead of like the kind of balanced, almost like dance-like attack that I normally do,
Mhm.
it's just like charging straight in.
Okay.
The fence is down a little bit, but I have the people backing me up, and I know that
Yeah.
like I'm
And
confident enough in myself that like I know I can get out of it, even
and
if I can't.
she's not expecting this at all. So she is expecting that sort of that dance-like elegant style that you normally do, and then you just suddenly go like that out of nowhere, and which takes her by surprise. So you do 2 harm to her. However, she is not to be trifled with either. And as soon as you stab into her chest,
Yeah.
and then you're expecting her to go down, what instead happens is you find yourself going up, and you are flying through the air, and she is spiraling with you and bashing you off against trees, all the trees in the forest.
Okay.
And you're being thrown about left, right, and center. So you can also take 2 harm.
Yeah.
And I think there's a peripheral move for take harm as well, isn't there?
Yes.
For a game so bloody, we don't actually do harm very often.
I know. Kind of
Okay,
cool.
so when you suffer harm, I did cut your throat, yeah. But I just said I cut your throat. I didn't actually say take 2 harm. I just go dead.
Yeah.
Dead and new playbook.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sophie, if you roll +2 and you want to get low.
Okay. 4, 5, 6. I got 6.
You got 6. Okay.
Yeah. Is that good?
Yeah,
It
no,
feels
that's good for you. Yeah. No, you only take 1 harm rather than 2 harm.
Oh, hell yeah. That's awesome.
But
But also I'm flying and getting bashed against trees.
you are, and you lose your grip on something you're holding. What do you lose your grip on?
Oh no.
I think it's probably, actually. It makes sense for it to be Tsar.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's bashing you against trees, which you weren't expecting either. Like she's a powerful priestess, so you're expecting some magical fuckery, but you were also hoping to take her out before that happened.
Yep.
So you surprise her. She swoops up with you, bashes you into the first tree, and then swoops off back towards the main city. You're falling. What are you doing? Actually, you're falling, and then we will cut to Hayes. Where are you right now? So you're going back to the. Okay, you are in Kanaloa's temple. What are you two doing?
I'm trying to figure out where I am and who this person is who looks kind of familiar.
Yeah, I think you can roll study a person there, because I think there's something in Hayes's slightly broken mind that might recognize him.
Okay. What is my study of person? What is that, Sly or Wiley?
That's Sly, unless you have something which changes it to Wiley.
No, that's a 7.
That's a 7.
Cool.
Okie dokie. So you can ask 2 what you're
Okay.
conversing. And what are you talking about, the 2 of you? Kanaloa, are you saying anything to you, Hayes?
Yeah, I think I'm going rest now. Recover, recuperate. You're important.
Oh,
And I think I might even be calling Yester.
Yester is not there.
Yeah, I get confused with the time, so I'm like, and turn back.
Because Yester is still in the middle of a fight in back in the present day. But I do think that, yes, I should be getting all 4 of you together at some point. I don't think that's ever happened in any of the sessions so far.
Not yet, no.
Okay, so you get to choose 2 questions from today's situation, Hayes. So what do you choose?
Kanaloa, what is your character's current plan?
Okay, so I'm more thinking, how does this come together for you? I mean, you probably recognize me calling for Yester or know who that is, right? So that's
Yeah,
one
I know who
information
Yester is.
that comes there. And then I kind of look confused, and I think I mumble under my breath, gotta get myself together. If they're all going to go down, everybody who has any say. And then I realize you're lying there, right? My plan is anybody who's ruling needs to be torn down.
Okay.
So yeah, you realize that his plan is to basically destroy the status quo, but by using you to do so because you have the ultimate truth tattooed on your back.
This is kind of where I wanted to go anyway. So yeah, how can I help with that? Technically, is what does your character wish I could do? I would do.
Yeah, and I turn, like, I realize again, oh yeah, I'm not alone. I have you lying here, and I think with like some care, and some tenderness, because right, you're always veiled as well. Or
yeah. Well, wait. I think. Am I still disguised as Kanaloa?
Oh yeah, you are.
I totally forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah. Tejas and Sophie, Hayes turned herself into Kanaloa last week. So what you have here is Kanaloa and Kanaloa talking to each other.
So, yeah. Then I'm like like tenderly brushing my long dark hair out of your face, and look at you, and I say, you need to be the prophet that carries the message for all to see and recognize.
I might be reading the vibe wrong, but are you two about to mac down?
Potentially, in a sense. I have no idea what
Hayes would Hayes be into that?
Kanaloa would definitely be into making out with himself.
Sorry, what did you say?
Kanaloa would definitely be into making out with his younger self.
If Hayes and or you as a player aren't into that, that is absolutely fine, and we will not do that.
I don't think so. Not at this point. I think that it's at other points they would probably be totally willing, but I think right now, especially now that they've suddenly realized, oh right, I'm disguised as Kanaloa. This is weird.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But I think,
let's.
I feel like brush my hand back then, and maybe get up and get your bearings, right?
Right, yeah.
That strange admiration, because for 300 years I've only known myself, and now I see myself again.
Right.
That stays definitely. Like, you notice that.
Okay, so you are now going to plot together about how to take down the status quo. Okay, cool. Yep. Talking of which, Yester, you are in the middle of a fight. You don't really know what's going on. There's just like rioting sounds all around you. We're back in the present day now. Rioting sounds all around you, and it looks like you are caught in the middle of a battle between one priest and like 6 of the prince's men, and your 2 guys that are in there with you. What are you doing?
I think that seeing that my men are fighting against people is all I really need, because that's the direction the targets are. So
yeah.
I think that the 2 people that they're fighting against, they're the king's men. Like, I can tell that they are, or
there's like 6 of the king's men, 1 priest, who appear to be fighting each other, and they just kind of, when there's like a fight in a club and it just kind of barrels into other people, and then you end up in that fight.
Right. Okay.
It's that sort of a thing.
So it's a brawl right now.
It's a brawl. They've just like smashed into your house, and literally you can see as you rush out a bit further that the entire front wall of the house that you're in has been smashed away. You assume by the priest's magic.
I think that, especially in the interest of threatening someone powerful without considering the consequences, I know that the king's men sort of like bow down to, sort of the priest. And so I think the thing I do is like whatever happens to be at hand, little piece of bedpost, or maybe nothing, since I, was so out of sorts when all this happened.
Yeah.
I just rush up and, hand out like to grab the throat and just try to slam them into the wall. And I say, "You'll stop this now or you will die by my hands. What is the meaning of this?"
Of the priest? Is this you're doing that to?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Roll me threatened by force.
To just understand. So the king and the priest's men, I don't know what's going on, but I would presume that they are on the same side.
No, they're fighting each other.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
then
they were like
whoever's the
guys
biggest and burliest of the king's men.
Okay, cool.
That same thing, just,
Yeah.
whoever
There
seems
were
like
six guys
I
trying to
probably
kill
shouldn't be
one.
picking on them. Yeah.
Okay, cool. There is this giant guy that looks just like the mountain from Game of Thrones, except half covered in tattoos. And what does remind us what Yester looks like?
She is. Let me go back and remind myself.
Because she's quite a large woman as well, isn't she?
Yeah, generally speaking, you can't usually tell that she's female. She tends to cover up with her armor and makes things, look kind of ambiguous. Her face is real bony, and actually a little masculine, although more with gauntness than, sort of like overdeveloped features. And then the biggest thing that kind of throws it all is that she's missing an eye.
Okay.
There's a big scar through, and her body just looks brutalized. Like she's big, but she's been through the ringer, and this is like going through a lot creates this sort of physique.
And currently, most of your skin is burnt or like semi-burnt.
Right.
So you're pretty terrifying. Okay, won't we threaten with force?
Oh my god. Okay. Well, that's a 4. Let me see if I add anything to that, but I don't think so. Threaten with force is with, if I can find it, fierce. Even with my fierce, that's only a 6.
That's a 6. Okay. So you barrel forward to this guy, shouting all that stuff that you said you were going to shout. Yep. And then you just feel this huge, just as you're about to get to him, basically the entire hut that you're in explodes. Because you, by getting in his way, just as he was about to go to the priest, you gave the priest enough time to summon a spell. And so the building that you're in has exploded outwards. Okay. And you were on the bottom floor. The bottom floor has now more or less exploded, which means that the tower building that you're in, because we said that they built up quite a lot, didn't we? Because of the limited space, is now starting to teeter. What are you doing?
You know what? I think that everybody is probably looking up with shock and surprise. So
yep.
I actually feel like that gives me an opportunity to just slam this guy in the throat. He didn't listen to me.
Nice. Go for an engaging combat.
Okay.
There's plus fierce.
There it is. Engage in combat is plus fierce. It's up to an 8.
That's up to an 8. Okay, cool. So yeah, you do slam him down, and then the people that are managing to kind of bring themselves back up together, because a couple of them were killed in the explosion, and 2 more of them see you, because there were 6 altogether, weren't there? Yeah. So another 2 see you manhandling their boss, and they charge at you. Okay, I think we're going to take a pause there. So everyone is okay to take, say, a 5-minute break, and then we will come back and destroy the universe. See you in 5 minutes. So Matthias, which of the moves did you take from the Beloved playbook?
So I got rid of both moves I had from the Lyre.
Mhm.
And I got the Harness the Unspeakable Power as the automatic one, and I took the +1 for Arcane. That was my level up, and I took the roll plus Arcane instead of plus Steady for Face Duress.
Nice. That's good. Cool. Okie dokie. So we will just wait for the other to get back. What is your and Hayes' plan for destabilizing the government now?
So Hayes can have some input in this. My plan is more or less pretty straightforward, tearing them down.
With like violence, or how are you going to get your message out there?
With so kind of Lois' idea is with publicly presenting the message that's on Hayes' back.
Yeah. Okay.
And anybody who tries to go against that is...
Where is the most public place on this island?
There is there's the town market square. There's kind of like a central square. And I will tell you the problem with that when Sophie gets back. So what else have you guys been up to this weekend? What have you been doing?
Oh, I got to play in the Few Rebels this afternoon.
In the what, sorry?
Cool.
In the Few Rebels, they Saturday Star Wars. Yeah.
Was it fun?
Star Wars Saturday. Yeah. It was
cool.
Yeah, actually pretty good. Yep.
Does the Few basically play kind of like Night Witches? Like there's that kind of back and forth of the missions, and then
yeah, there's a mission structure and a base phase, but it's not really like Night Witches, I wouldn't say, but it has those alternating.
Okay.
Cool.
I have been super deep into RPGs today because I've been trying to finish the layout on Legacy 2nd Edition.
Okay.
So that PDF is due when I finish it. It's due really soon. It is due in the next couple of days. Okay, so Sophie, Esther.
Yes. I'm falling.
You were, yeah. What do you do to stop yourself falling?
Hit the ground. Can I pray?
That does stop you falling eventually. That does. Yeah, you can pray. I think praying sounds nice. I think that sounds like staring into the whispering into the unspeakable power.
Yes, I forgot. There's another page. I will stare into the unspeakable power. Please let me roll well. What am I rolling with?
You're rolling plus arcane.
Okay. Oh no. Okay, I got a flat 7.
You got a flat 7. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get this vision as you're falling of the waters rising up to meet you, even though you weren't falling into water. And you land in the water, and you're just kind of sinking deep into it. And you can see some of what Kanaloa saw when he was drifting in his own blood. And you realize that what was the name of the client that you said had been teaching you things? So are you muted?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah. Oh no, sorry, I've lost you again.
Again.
There we are.
Their name was Spective.
Spective. Okay, cool. You realize that Spective is a kind of they're an unusual person, and you realize deep within your soul that you've misinterpreted what they're asking for. You're used to people you're used for people asking for like hands and fingertips and stuff like that in sorceress incantations. But what they really wanted was their hand, and by their hand they mean their actions. They wanted you to bring them to them for their actions. And you realize you need to go speak to Spective as you wake up on the floor and someone's looking over you and it's like, how the hell did you survive that?
I don't know.
You don't know.
But I need to go.
Okay, cool. You head off to see Spective. Hayes and Kanaloa, you are planning. You're planning your great big overthrow of society. And the problem, you said that you asked where the most public place on the Key Island was, and it is going to be the sort of like the Royal Square, we'll call it. The problem with that is that, as Yester can currently testify, most of it's on fire. There is a bloody civil war going on currently between the King's men, or the Governor's men, sorry, and the priest class. So you have this priest class battling with soldiers, and you've got just the regular folk just being chalked up as so much collateral damage, basically, at the minute. And Yester, that's what you find yourself in the middle of. Hayes and Kanaloa, you are in the midst of planning your overthrow when in walks Esther. Because Kanaloa, you've been going by the name Spective for a little while. It's not a name you've given yourself.
Oh, dang.
It is a name that people give to you.
That's awesome.
Because of the strange way you talk. I thought of it when I was making a drink a minute ago. Don't tell anyone. Yeah, and yeah, that's that. Let's have a little of that scene.
Maybe we're even like looking out, and we see the smoke coming up from the main city.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, and I think I'm going, yes, this is indeed the right time. They're killing each other. We need to strike. And maybe I see you coming, walking up to us now.
Yeah,
Esther.
I'll probably just...
Esther, you see Hayes. Do you look like Hayes again now, or do you still look like Kanaloa?
Let's say yes, because
Okay.
otherwise I'll just forget.
You see Hayes, which is kind of surprising to you.
Yeah.
How do you react to all this?
I might just kind of sit down. This is the first time I've been told to do a job, and the result has already happened without me doing anything. Like, I've just...
You say that, but it happened exactly because of what you did do.
Yeah, and I'm going.
Yeah.
And time travel in that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going. I'm expressing my thanks and gratitude, but we're not done yet, Esther. And I like point towards the city that's on fire.
Okay, I'm guessing that this is going to play out that Esther, that Kanaloa is basically going to try and hire Esther and the Black Hoods to help overthrow the city. Does that sound right?
Yes, we need to go in there, and whoever still stands needs to fall.
Ooh,
Okay, is Esther into that?
hell yeah.
Okay, cool. And does Hayes want to add any complications or any conditions to this plan? Because you're kind of central to this plan, so you can say a lot about what happens or does not happen. Because if you were to just dive into the ocean now and burn off the tattoo, the whole thing would be gone.
Also, I'm really vague about the details, like
Yeah,
about anything, right?
you're this old Methuselah guy. You were so vague that she didn't know exactly what you were asking for.
Yeah, just do what
I'm
you
the
want.
Oculus type.
Two things actually. One complication. What are we gonna do about this tattooed wizard?
Zah, yes.
Zah, yes. And the other
I
thing is,
stabbed them.
does this tattoo burn off? Because that was a thing last session.
What was the thing last session? Sorry.
That the tattoo was like couldn't be burned off by the water, I believe. Something like that.
It was that the tattoo. It was that it wouldn't go when you went. Basically, it was that it would survive you somehow.
Okay.
Okay. That's
Okay.
cool.
It's different, yeah. See, all this time I thought it was like not destructible by water.
Well, that's entirely a possibility as well. I don't know the full details. We'll see if you ever
Okay.
end up in some water.
Almost did already.
Okay, and you said that was one thing. Is there anything else?
No, just like trying to. Yeah, so I definitely bring up Zar.
Okay, so I am picturing you now. How do the Esther? How do the Black Hood travel normally? How do the Faceless travel?
Through the shadows. So we run, but it looks more like just like a like a kind of jittering shadow.
Okay, cool.
So we it looks pretty cool.
How many of you are there?
I reckon I'd probably take 7.
Just 7? You can take more than that.
How many people are we going to fight?
The city?
Oh, okay. I'll bring everyone. This feels like a high stakes thing then.
Okay, cool.
7 may
So,
have been undershooting a little
Whoever
bit.
does not bow before the message, and I pointed at Hayes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are now you're the word basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't actually done much with the bridges, but what we have then is this shot, kind of like an aerial shot of Hayes and Kanaloa at the back of this kind of like jittering horde of shadows who are just kind of like clearing out everyone between them, and there's guards on the bridge. And we just see the guards just like disappear out of nowhere and like be pulled down into the water, and like just suddenly just like shadow appears around them, and then they're just not there anymore, which allows Hayes and Kanaloa to just kind of walk calmly along what should be this water-worn bridge.
Okay.
Yester, you are in the middle of a battle zone. What are you doing?
I think first and foremost, I am trying to be the rally point, because it seems like people are scattered all over, and I want to get my people and my gators to me. I mean, I have no idea if I'm in the right place for that, or if
you are your
yeah.
people are nearby. Yeah, you have your people nearby.
I probably jump up on, some piece of debris and kick somebody in the face to get them out of the way, and
Nice. Okay.
kind of wave my burning arms and
The people that are really getting... Oh, sorry, carry on.
Oh, just kind of saying to me, just getting everybody surrounded.
The people that are really getting screwed here are like the common folk. So you've got 2 ruling classes who are kind of clashing up against each other, and everyone else is getting killed in the midst of it. So are you trying to like rally the crowds? Are you trying to just rally your men to what are your...
I kind of like the idea of her intent was to rally her men, but several people see a face that is not just random rich person trying to kill them, and as she sees herself gathering more than she intended to, she's like, this works.
Plus you have armored gators.
Right.
I'm going to say roll persuade with leverage.
Okay, well, okay.
Or did you want to do something else?
Oh, okay. That is a 10 plus some odd. Let me just make sure it's not a penalty. That is plus Wiley, which is a 1. So yeah, it's an 11.
It's an 11. Okay, cool. So you start rallying. You rally your squad to you, but also you notice that you do start rallying like the common man to you as well, and they're not really fighting back, but they're defending themselves, and your men are kind of ordering them to different places and stuff like that. And you sort of, without intending to, you've kind of raised a kind of proletariat army. Is what you've done.
think I'm kind of doing the, as I see what's happening, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm fighting before I really understand the fight, and then as I kind of take the scene in, I think my banner cry is starting to be like, there is safety this way. There's safety through them, and the through them is always pointing at, one of the big groups of, our warring nobles.
Okay, so are you trying to lead your army somewhere safe and defensible, or are you trying to just cause as much carnage as possible?
I think that she wants to get the people to safety, but with a mind that there are objectives that will be more beneficial than others. Like if I can make them safe in that direction, which gives us that tower, that is better than making us safe by retreating that way where there's no.
Okay, the place that you could head towards is, you do kind of like a quick head count, because you're good at this. You know your shit when it comes to soldiering, and you reckon that basically all of the King's Guards are either out here or dead, which means that the governor's palace is going to be more or less empty.
Oh, okay.
So that is the place that you are going to try and take the people. Other three. You are walking across the bridge. You're arriving in the midst of this battle, and you see Yester leading a large group of people towards the tower. What are you all doing?
Fighting.
Fighting. Okay, cool. And the other two, what are you doing?
I do have a walking stick,
Okay.
and I point, and I say,
Remember, you have your new magical abilities as well.
yeah. I do point, and I say towards Yester, those are people of the word. Looking at Hayes, and then at everybody else, follow them.
Okay.
March ahead, expecting everybody to be like defending me and fighting the way free.
Yeah, most people don't know who you are at all, but you do look strange.
Yes,
But like, I don't mean that. I don't mean you look. Yeah, no, it's kind of like this weird,
it's
like beatific almost moment in the midst of this battle. There's sorcerer priests flying about and conjuring winds and stuff. There's the governor's men trying to murder everyone that moves, and then you're there kind of talking quite calmly as if none of this could possibly harm you, and just kind of walking through with your green skin and your white hair, and it's just kind of like anyone that sees you does have this weird moment of, wait, what? But in a kind of positive, like there is something bigger happening here than what they initially thought. And Hayes, what are you doing?
I'm taking this like moment of relative safety since I'm following Ether's group, and just kind of surveying. I'm trying to like see sort of which group is moving where, and try to get an overall impression of like the layout of the battle, I guess.
Okay. So Esther, I think that is going to be there's going to be an engaging combat for you, but just sort of like a generalized one with like the group as a whole. Yeah.
Yep.
Hayes, that is going to be a study situation, and Kanaloa, I don't think that's a role for you. Does it sound, unless there was a particular move you were trying to trigger?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, cool.
Roll supreme overpower.
Let's study the situation.
Right.
My last
So-
game of this,
okay.
which was with my face-to-face group, had a beloved in it as well, and he ended up starting a cult, and the other two players had to go, and the last session was them going to murder him on an island because the cult had taken over too much.
Nice. I just want to show everyone that I just rolled an 11.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. And I also just leveled up.
Nice.
Which I will fix. Yeah. It's just
And
a good day.
Hayes, what did you roll?
9.
You rolled a 9. Okay, so you get to ask 2 questions during the midst of the battle. So you decide what those 2 questions are, whilst Esther, if you want to decide how you and the rest of the Black Hoods turn the battle enough to allow all of you to get to the castle, to get to the palace. So if you go ahead. If
So
you describe.
I don't really need to pick any, like I do whatever harm, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah,
but-
it's fine. It's just narrative, yeah.
So basically, it's like almost unfair odds against everybody else. Like if I brought 7 people, it might have been fair, but because I brought everyone, it was like they never stood a chance. As we like kind of come in, we're not really ever used in like big groups, so it's super unusual to see like everything that we've been training for to all just like kind of come together like this. We are getting paid a lot of money to do this. But to just kind of watch it, like it almost looks like a tidal wave kind of coming over everyone, but it's just like a tidal wave of just like darkness and like just blood. It's just like, it's not nice for people to watch, but it's also just like you can't not look at it because of the kind of methodic and like precise way that we just kind of assess things and then like take everyone out.
And did we decide how many of you there were in total?
I reckon it would be max 30, like everywhere, but probably not
Okay.
everyone would have come to this. So I reckon there would be about 20 of us.
Okay, but yeah, and it's even with those relatively small numbers, it's just they're not prepared for you at all. They're suddenly finding themselves fighting on 2 fronts, and you guys, you just do sweep across it, and both the priests and the king's men, or the governor's men, fight to retreat. Basically, the ones that are left.
Yeah.
Hayes, what did you want to ask?
Who or what here could be a useful opportunity for me?
Who or what? Okay. You can definitely take advantage of. Pardon me. You can definitely take advantage of Yester's popular army that she's just raised. And you could not only to escape with them, but that is going to be they are going to be a good vessel to spread the word.
Cool.
And what was the other question?
Who or where is my enemy really?
Who or where is your enemy really? Okay. You see, well, you can actually see where both of the groups of people are retreating to. So the priests you can see swooping off to their sacred sanctuaries, which are up in the hills, and Hester Akuz. Sorry, what? Matthias, you for some reason remember my NPC's names better than me. What was the name of the governor?
Yeah, that's because I named him.
Yeah.
He's my patron. Haku Eha.
Haku Eha.
I'll write it again.
Yeah,
Haku is the name for, or is the term for Lord. So his name is Eha.
Heko. Cool. Okay, and they are heading towards a. You see them kind of heading into buildings that you wouldn't expect them to. You expected them to maybe go back to the palace, but they're not going there, and they are instead going into like what looks like disused buildings or like old like libraries and stuff like that, and then suddenly they're gone. And we established previously with Kanaloa last time that they're kind of like priest holes and tunnels kind of underneath the city. But they are these kind of weird undulating tunnels that look like they've been carved by something organic. Okay, I am going to cut ahead a little bit, and I'm going to say now that you are all in the palace. So you have got Yester and Yester's group of mercenaries, and also now the kind of the milling around, barely controlled kind of popular rebellion that you have there. You've got Esther and the Black Hoods. So where you have Kanaloa, who I'm guessing is kind of sitting on the throne. Would you be sitting on the throne? Would that be to your taste, or would that be?
No, I'm actually way too busy.
Okay.
I don't think Kanaloa can sit still as things are in motion right now.
Okay. And Hayes, where are you? So where does everyone position themselves in this room? We'll say you're in like the Great Hall where the governor would receive people.
So I would want to be maybe like taking a few steps up to the throne to get an overview. Mm-hmm. And if you're there and if you want to be Hayes with you, because the point is everybody needs to hear the message now, or ideally get to read it themselves. I don't know how you feel about how we're going to be conveying this.
Yeah. I think that both read it, and like someone should read it aloud for those who can't read. Also, it's probably a long way to look from.
It is. So, okay, yeah. So you reveal the. So you're going to reveal the tattoo. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we have like a long procession with like everybody steps up forward to get to read it, right?
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Where does Esther position? Where are the Black Hoods positioned in this?
Were we just here to protect, or were we here to kill? Is it Zara?
Zara.
Zara.
I don't know. What are you here for? So you were here to. Well, I think Kanaloa has at this point hired you to help destabilize the government, essentially. And Kanaloa, because you've been alive for 300 years, once you've not talked to many people, you have made some very wise investments, and you are tremendously rich, basically.
Enough to hire out all of us.
Enough to hire out the 20. But this is also at this point. This is kind of the palace. This is the extent of your wealth. You've basically been saving for this because the waters have been whispering that this day would come. So you needed enough money to hire more or less the entirety of the faceless, and you got exactly that much money and then stopped because you didn't actually want the money. You just wanted the faceless. So okay, so I guess you're kind of on protection duty for the minute, but with the intent that...
Or I don't know how you feel about it, because right, I actually know where a entrance is to the catacombs. Because I got there,
you do.
Right? So
because that's where you died.
Yeah.
That is where you died.
And that's like a perfect point to send assassins into to bring
if you're about to start reading
or something like that.
Yeah, if you guys are about to start reading and creating a distraction for me, we will head down to kill someone. Okay,
so we've got the great big procession of people coming up and reading Hayes' tattoo, and you can kind of, and as they're reading it, you can see that they're just kind of uncontrollably weeping, and not in a sad way, although some of them are sad because they realize they've been deceived, but it's just kind of like this It's a religious experience. The things that are written on Hayes's back are the absolute and undeniable truth in a way that can't be said of like anything else.
Like air.
Yeah. And whilst that's happening, so you're sending the faceless after the king, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So that's happening. And what is Yester doing in all this?
Well, I feel like the crowd is just a little bit just surly, and right now after all of the stuff that's happened to them, and then they charged forth and kind of took the gates, they are looking for, a head. They're looking for somebody to sort of string up, so to speak. And I think that she wasn't planning on doing this, but at the same time, she feels like there's got to be some meat to, give the dogs, kind of thing.
Okay.
And I don't think she at first realizes that, all of this stuff, because she hasn't seen the Prophet for, however long it's been since, she went and, sought him out. So I think that at first she's just sort of like sending them to scour out through the catacombs. I feel like, unfortunately, like get in the Faceless's way, but then again, maybe give them like a crowd to blend into.
Well, I was thinking maybe that given that you're fighting on two fronts, if the Faceless are going one way, it would make sense for you to go the other.
Yeah, definitely. I think that then if I know, so are they basically like sieging the palace since we are inside? Is that
no? They
pulled back to the hills,
priest,
right?
actually.
They've pulled back.
I think the priests. Yeah, I think that actually that's a really good idea. I think the priests would now sort of like be sieging outside and probably all like hovering, just kind of directly outside.
How about like everyone who comes forward and has a religious experience, and they'd be like given a little bit of time, but then on the side, that's where you are, and I'm standing close there as well, and I'm like, General. Just call you General.
Yeah,
and mustering like those religious converts directly into your forces.
Okay. I think
because as the Prophet, you haven't spoken to him in a couple of years,
right.
And as Kanaloa, you've not spoken to him in a couple of years. Let's have a little moment, or not properly in a couple of years. You met briefly on the beach, didn't you? And then you got overrun by the prince's men.
Let me just clarify. So is this the Kanaloa that I saw, or is this the Kanaloa, which is the Prophet that...
This is the Prophet. So, but okay. I think you're going to recognize him at this point. I think as he's talking, as he's directing something, you finally realize what's been bugging you for the last 2 years, and it kind of clicks that's Kanaloa somehow.
Right.
Let's have a little of that weird scene.
I think maybe then, like, as the people are sort of like trudging around and I'm trying to just get a feel for what's going on, I kind of see this going on. I come up to see what's happening, and I see them all sort of bent over Hayes and reading her back, and then just sort of behind that, and it just sort of stops me in my tracks. And I start forward to kind of ask, what is this? And before, I was sort of taken aback when your eyes were closed and you scuttled up. Yeah. And instead, this time, like, you turn before I get to you and your eyes are open, and it just sort of freezes me. And I just sort of mouth for a second, like, Kanaloa, And I freeze kind of. So there's like that kind of bridge of people reading Hayes with the two of us on either side.
Is this the first time you've said their name?
Yes, I think it is. I think it's the first time you've heard your name in about 300 years.
Oh.
Yeah, that completely takes me out of it for a moment, and I'm like, I look at you, and I kind of scuttle around Hayes to get closer to you, right? And
I actually take a step back. I say, "How? Wait, but how? I've seen you before, but you were just on the beach, you know." And I kind of take a step back again, away from you, just trying to get enough distance to figure things out.
say again what you just said.
I said, "I've seen you,
No, before.
Kanaloa." But how can it be Kanaloa? I saw you just hours ago.
Yes.
What are you doing, Matthias?
I'm completely. I'm head over heels here in terms of like, there's recognition. Like that feels like something that I've. Right. It's like I've been in a musky basement for all these years, and this is like a breath of fresh air. And it was you who led all these people here. Yes, sir. My love. And this old man saying this to you.
Yeah.
But I think you're kind of you're kind of like weirdly preserved as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you look kind of like a hot mummy.
Yeah. It's strange and weird more than it is.
Yester, you going to go for it? Is there going to be a kiss? Are we going to have some smooching?
I feel like she's sort of torn between like seeing him and kind of shoving a spear into his face, because she, like a lot of what happened to her was based on what he, as this, said to her 2 years ago. Yet, only a short time ago were the two of them in his regular form, plotting to put stuff on Hayes' back. So I think she's going to sort of like take him by the shoulders and like push him back all the way.
Don't you remember how we drowned together?
That's some dark shit.
And I'll just say, like, we drowned together, but that was mere hours ago. How can it be that we were together 2 hours ago, but I saw you 2 years ago like this?
Mere hours ago. Look at this. This change. This doesn't happen in mere hours, does it?
She shakes her head, and I was like, is this, then maybe I misunderstood. Is this the truth? And I point to you as your body, not the source of the hearts, but is this what we're to become if we seek out the truth?
And you look closer at the at Kanaloa's skin, and Matthias, you said that he had kind of like mineral patterns all over him, didn't you?
Yeah,
from the river. But as you get closer, and as you take his hand, and you look closer, and what you realize what it actually is just incredibly densely packed tattoos.
Okay.
And it's that there is it's like sort of the entire it's like if someone tried to fit all of literature on someone, basically, and you can see it twisting and turning, and it breaks your mind to even try and read any of it. It's just like too much information, and you realize that the truth on Hayes' back is just like a small portion of what could be handled. Hayes,
this is our truth, right? As I kind of, you hold me, but I start like clinging onto you.
Oh, Hayes, what are you doing during this?
So,
or do you want to wait until they start going against some of the other people?
No, I'm gonna take this opportunity to whisper into the unspeakable power, and I'm
Nice.
basically like meditating because I'm just I'm just here. I'm not really participating in this process. They're just reading what's on me.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of like meditating and accessing the
Okay, go for it.
power.
Is there a particular question that you're asking of the unspeakable power?
Yeah, I think I'm still very concerned about how to kill or just like survive an encounter with Czar, which
Okay.
I don't think she's going to be content to let us do this.
No, I don't think she is either.
That's arcane, right? 7.
It's a 7. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a slight blank here. Does someone want to help out and give Czar a weakness?
Any kind of weakness?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Spoilers. I just got a move that lets me silently kill an NPC who like so maybe it could be me.
Yeah. Okay.
but I could fail. So maybe you want something more concrete than that.
Does her power is it in her tattoos and that's why she takes everyone's, or?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So maybe water.
Yeah.
I have an idea. We have to bring the rain.
Yeah. Okay.
Bring the rain.
Into battle.
Bring the rain into her. Like, you have to wash off her tattoos. That's how you do it. And the vision that you get is it just starts raining outside, and the rain starts battering against the windows of the palace, and then you realize it's raining inside. And as it's raining inside, you can see that the everything is just kind of fading away and being kind of melted by the rain. You know, when you have there's patterns that kind of the rain kind of gloms all together and just kind of falls down like that down the windows. It's like that's happening to the walls and to the floor, and all of the people around you. They're just kind of fading out, and then you can see. You flash back to that scene in the market where Czar was stealing all of the tattoos from Crow, and you see it go into her, and then you see it kind of pulling out and being pulled out by the rain and going back up into the clouds. That's what you see. Okay, so Esther, let's do some roles for you taking out hopefully the king's men, the governor's men in the catacombs. Do you have a particular Black Hood move that you want to roll, or is this just going to be an engaging combat?
Yeah, this is just engaging combat. I deleted my dice. This is just going to be engaging combat.
Okay.
I'm not particularly there aren't a lot of skills for killing people, except that last one that I just took. Yeah.
Which is the kill an NPC move, it's brutal, isn't it? Yeah.
Once per session. Yeah.
Once per session, kill an NPC. Do you want to give me the build up to your attack, and then give me the roll, and then we'll describe what happens afterwards?
Yep. So as we're as kind of lower, just kind of gestures very, very slightly over to the entrance to the catacombs. We'll all kind of move through the crowd, blending in, which is what we do. That's what we're good at. And slink down into the catacombs and start running, but in the same fear that Yester felt when Kanaloa kind of moved in that golem sense towards her. It's like a speed you wouldn't think anything would ever be coming at you, because you wouldn't think that anything on this world was like bad enough to get that kind of punishment. Like you just you just don't really understand why it's happening, and then it's already happened before you can like think of why it's happening.
So you and the Black Hood are an oncoming nightmare.
Yeah, I like
Excellent.
that.
Okay, make me a roll.
Let's hope, because okay, I got an 8. I'm rolling for fierce.
You're rolling fierce, yeah.
Okay,
and
cool.
you're rolling sort of on behalf of your entire group as well.
Yeah, that would have been really bad because it was almost 2 1s, but I got 2 4s, so it's an 8. Thank goodness.
Okay, so the Governor Haku'aha is there, sort of over a map of the city, and he's planning with his generals, and he's got his guards all around him, and it's quite brightly lit. And you've got the kind of the flickering, burning oil that you gather up from the rivers, and then suddenly all of the lights just go and out,
Yes.
and we just hear screams and choking and the sound of blood scattering, and then the lights come back on,
Yeah.
and you have just lit one of the candles, and a few of your guys are dead.
Yep.
Because you were still attacking armed men even though it was in the dark, but all of them are dead.
Casualties are often unavoidable.
Exactly. But just left there is Haku'aha, left alive.
Oh,
What do you say? What do you do? And he's there. He's got the dagger that he was using to like point at different points of the map. He's kind of got it there, and he's trembling with the dagger there. And he sees he's completely surrounded by the Black Hood.
yes. I'll just walk up to him kind of slowly, but get really close, like uncomfortably close.
Mhm.
And then just kind of lean to one side so I can whisper in his ear and just say, I'm not meant to kill you. I think you mean a lot to someone I'm working for. But accidents happen. And I'm just going to attempt to just put him to sleep, but I want to kill him. No, you know what? Oh, let me check player level. Would you be upset if I killed him?
Do what
No,
you
okay,
will.
cool. All right,
Yeah.
cool. I'm gonna kill him then. Yeah, I just like if he was important to you, I'd be like, I'm gonna put him to sleep and like bring his body to you so you can do something with him. But like, I'm gonna kill him. With
I mean,
the
I'd be thanking him, but that's just an aside. I brought him alive.
maybe I'll kill him slowly with the poison. So I'll just kind of like stab him in his lower abdomen, and like maybe like one of his kidneys, hoping that the other one still works, trying to avoid every other like important organ, and inject some poison into him, hopefully.
Okay.
Oh shit. Oh. Ooh. What am I rolling with? Sly. Shh. Okay, I got a 6, so I failed.
Okay. So you say,
On a miss, pick one of the above qualities, but the MC chooses 1 or 2 below. Okay, so I do actually poison him, but you get to
that still
choose
happens.
1 or 2
And do I
from the
still get-
list.
I
So
assume I
do
still
we
get to
read
make
the
a
list
as
to
well.
you?
Yeah. please.
Yeah. Okay, so someone sees you do it, which I'm not trying to hide it, so I guess that's not important. Someone else unintended ingests it. It does something you never would have guessed. You lose track of where you slipped it. Pray no one buys you a drink. And I'm going to say it deals harm within the exact time frame you want it to. So I'm going to like slowly, kill him.
Okay. You do that. So how do you inject it? It's in your fingernails, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll
okay,
probably
so,
just like as I like stab him in, I'll probably just like wipe along his cheek
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
And as you do that, you're feeling quite pleased with yourself. Except for
Yeah.
then the building starts rumbling, and you wonder if it's all collapsing in on you.
Yeah.
But then the entire roof just comes off, and like floats upwards, like crumbling bits of rock, like it's been ripped off. Like you're expecting to look up and see one of the glycine just like having ripped it, but it's not that. It's Tsar floating there with many of the other priests, and she looks down at you and says, "I said I was going to feed your fingers to my children, but I think you should eat them to yourselves." And then you feel your hand just kind of going up and just into your own mouth.
No.
And you can feel yourself ingesting your own poison.
Yep.
Okay, where is everyone else at this point?
I think that if the troops of the priests were trying to retake the building, I would have been on the. I would have directed people to go to the outskirts, but I think that I'm actually just sort of be kneeling on the floor, kind of like staring at Kanaloa for a moment. I was actually thinking that I would kind of fall into like those tattoos for a little bit, just sort of staring at it and kind of like lose myself for a moment until, you know, they bring me to and kind of are like, you need to be doing something.
Yeah, it takes a moment for my voice to get through. You're mesmerized there, I believe, and this is what I'm saying. Take these people, like I'm pointing at the first, like people who are recovering from their religious experience. Take them, give them purpose. Be my general.
Okay.
And Hayes, I believe you were gonna tell Kanaloa what you saw in your vision?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you do that. I think we will then cut to your forces massing outside of the. We're going to say it's one of. Well, it's just a big hole in the ground, actually, because they were in a catacomb. So in the center of the Royal Square, there is now just basically a giant sinkhole. And in addition, Esther, to just being forced to ingest your own poison, you're also kind of blinded because suddenly all this light is just pouring into what was previously a near dark room.
Yep.
Okay, so everyone is around the sinkhole. There are the priest kings. The sorcerer priests are all around, and the melee begins. So what does everyone do in that melee?
Try not to die.
I'm going to try to make it rain.
Yeah, that's what
you're going to make it rain.
I was going to say that I actually think that for a moment, it would seem like Aethar was just completely by their self, you know, they're just sort of surrounded by all of the kings, and then suddenly sort of like, you know, just stealing blatantly from the two towers. There's that just sort of edge of the light where suddenly there's just a wash of like, you know, people kind of coming down the sides of the sinkhole. And
yeah, so it looks like it's all over, and then yeah,
and then sort of like rocketing off of like neighboring buildings and just sort of leaping to take them out of the air. My people on gators are just sort of, you know, doing that gator missile kind of, you know, the priests are up there and then suddenly they just get slammed to the ground one at a time. And,
nice.
You know, I am just heading for presumably somebody important.
Okay, I think it is going to be Esther and Yester.
Yep.
Rolling engaging combat, I'm guessing. Hayes, I guess you're going to be rolling harness the unspeakable power.
Kind of lower, or me. If one of us can do it and the other can help, I think.
So I would have asked if you could make it rain after you after you told me about this.
I think that kind of
Also
makes sense
because-
that because of Canela's kind of like prophetic visions, that maybe this is the ultimate reason that he's brought you here to do this.
Okay.
Like he could
Cool.
have just chosen anyone to write this on the back of. But
And in terms of the entire arc, you've been the one who's always been doing stuff with water.
Okay.
yes, absolutely, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That works. All right.
Yeah, that's
This
awesome.
is like you up on one of the towers or something? All in the
Yeah, where are
reins,
you when
or-
you're doing this?
No, I think I'm done. I think I'm on the ground. Because I have a bad backup plan that involves getting close to her.
Yes. Yes, I hope that happens.
All right. So, okay, dice. Look at me now. Make it rain.
Make it rain.
Oh god, that's a 6. Let's see where's it. Ah, that's an 8.
That's an 8. Okay. What do you get on an 8? What's the thing?
The MC will hold 1 and can spend it on one of the following. The power knows what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Mhm.
The power asks for something minor in return. The power requests some small show of loyalty.
Okay.
Ooh.
Right. I think that will come back later. We'll come back to that later. So describe what happens.
So I have this new move, and this isn't what the move is, but it implies a thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's called Black Ichor, and my blood is now corrosive and poisonous black sludge.
That fits perfectly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's the water.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
a
yeah.
concentrated form of it. So yeah, I just like take a knife and make a cut on my hand or something because I don't have any actual water.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like take my fingers and just do like that and spray it into the air
Okay.
to like call for the rain to imitate that.
Okay. You're on quite a it's not like you're quite near the coast.
Mhm.
And there's not currently a cloud in the sky at all. So when you spray this up, you're hoping it's going to work, but you have no idea where this rain's going to actually come from.
Yep.
And then what you hear is just this ginormous rushing of water. And you look back, and this sort of tidal wave is coming from the ocean all around you, and it hits the shore. And the shore's quite a way off, but by the time it gets to you, the kind of the spray and the kind of the what's left of this tidal wave basically just it hits the coast with just like this immense force, and then just the water comes over and splashes over the entire rest of the island. So the rest of the island is soaked, and the rain is kind of pouring down. Yester and Esther, do you want to make me your combat rolls whilst all this black sludgy rain is coming down?
Yeah, I thought I got a 6, but I add my fear, so it's an 8.
It's an 8. Sweet.
Oh, I got a 9.
You got a 9.
Rolls
Okay.
today are just good. Like failing is really fun, and like I don't want to. I don't
it's
want
been
to say
kind
I failed, but
There were so many fails last week. It's been nice to have a few, especially
yeah,
at
but
the
making
climax.
me eat my own fingers is so cool. Like,
It is. Well, you are still eating your own fingers. You think that might actually kill you at some point? How long did you plan for the king to die? The governor to die.
so I've given him a day. So
Okay, you reckon you yourself have a day left?
yeah, that's fine. It happens to
You might be able to find a
Black
cure in that
accepts
day,
their fate.
or it might just be, given that this is the last session, it might just be nice for you to have that last day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Down your bucket list items.
Okay, so the battle is, you join the battle in earnest, basically, and it's going against you to start with. So you each lose about half of your force because you are killers of people. You're not killers of sorcerers. You've not come against this kind of power before. But then the rain starts coming down, and you can see as it kind of washes over their face, their tattoos start to burn off, and their power starts to burn out. And then you're suddenly faced with just people, and people you can tear up like so much fucking meat.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you do.
Yep. Could I try and do my move now to kill an
Yes.
NPC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are you going to be killing?
I want to kill Zar.
Okay, cool. Roll and
Or
tell
should
me
I
what you
wait for
get.
that?
Because, no, just roll and tell me what you get.
Plus steady. Oh boy. It's not good. It's not good.
What did you get?
So I rolled a 3, but I have +2, so I got a 5. On a
Okay.
miss, you don't achieve your goal, and a scene or heard. Prepare for a world of trouble.
Okay.
Good.
Right. Okay. So you're in the midst of this battle, and you see Zar, and you see that part of the powers have gone from her. She's kind of struggling to keep up the same level of sorcery that she was going for previously. And you think, now's my turn. So now's my time to go get this. And you head towards her, and she turns around, but she doesn't actually physically turn. She's just suddenly facing towards you. It's like that kind of that dream.
Oof. Yep. Terrifying.
And you can see like half of her face, the tattoos have gone, and like half of her body, the tattoos have gone. But the ones that are still there are just kind of like trying to work their way back in. They're trying to get back in.
Hell yeah.
And do you mind if I do something really horrible? You did get a 6 and we're about to finish.
Do it.
Okay.
Yeah, do it.
And she just reaches towards you. And you know that thing that you were doing with your hands earlier, the thing that Kanaloa taught you?
Yeah.
She does that, and you hear a crack, and you feel your spine go. And you collapse to the floor.
Dang.
And she looks over and says, now just stay there for the next day and die. And turns around and leaves. I'm sorry, that's really horrible.
No, I'm into it. That's so cool. I mean, terrible. I wouldn't want to done it anymore, but also just like, thank you for that. Like, oh my gosh. It's like, because all of the good rolls, I'm like, yes, I'm so powerful. Yeah, the Black Hoods are great. And then it's just like one move, even when she's weak, it's just like, yeah, like these guys are super strong. Like, so cool. Like, story,
awesome.
Man.
Well, especially this close to the end.
Yeah.
I mean, overall casualty-wise, it's probably going a lot better than our watch game, where like most people died.
Yeah.
Okay, so she then just kind of she turns away from you without even waiting to see if you're going to try and do any further harm, and she heads towards Kanaloa. Kanaloa, what are you doing?
This is perfect. Like, I'm on the other side of I imagine, right? We have that sinkhole, and this happened on the one side, and Esther drops, and you're probably lying on your side, and you see me basically appearing on the other side, immediately like getting Zara's attention, and I've standing upright, like as if like the hunch straightened out, but chin on my chest, and like the white hair basically veiling my face. But I'm like with a confident stride, make my way around the sinkhole towards Zar.
And what are you doing as you meet in the middle? As she's coming towards you, she's trying to fly. Because that's her normal way of moving, but the power is kind of giving out. So she's, instead of flying, she's just kind of like dragging her feet across the floor and kind of sliding towards you, just like on her tiptoes, and like she's leaving a trail, because this rain is everywhere, and she's kind of like leaving a slick trail through the rain.
Yeah, and as we're like coming to be facing like a couple of paces away from each other, that's when I raise my head, and there's like this huge gape where my throat is, and
that's great, awesome.
And we can see like that it all like appears dried up, and we see like the dried sinewy muscle that hold the head up, and it's definitely like causing some strain. And then we hear a gurgling sound, and the blood rushes up to shoot into her face, onto her tattoo.
That's so
I wanna-
gross. I love it.
Burn the rest of her tattoos away this way with,
Nice.
I guess, harness the unspeakable power.
That sounds like harnessing unspeakable power to me.
Yeah. That's a 9.
That's a 9. Okay. Describe what happens.
Yeah. So way too much blood, like when we had in the opening scene, and when we first saw Kanaloa this episode, like a fountain shoots up into her face, and it's actually burning hot to singe away the tattoo.
Okay. And that happens, and it singes away her hair as well. It's just kind of completely eaten into it at this point, and she's stumbling backwards into the sinkhole, which I think gives Yester a perfect opportunity, if you so wish, to go for some sort of finishing thing.
Well, I feel like it's actually one of those sort of action movie slaps where you see, all of the blood sort of boil forth, and you're just waiting for her to drop, and she goes to a knee, and then she, kind of bows down, and she's almost on the floor, and then the gush sort of like ends, and she's not all the way down, and you can see like most of her tattoos are gone, but they're starting to snake up again, and she pushes herself to her feet, like gives this sort of "I will not be defeated" sort of look, and then super unceremoniously from like off screen, just a gator tail just comes and whack,
and she gets eaten by a gator.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to make you roll, because who doesn't want to have the bad guy eaten by a gator at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. And the battle comes to an end. A lot of people are dead, but the people of the islands are free of both the governors, and they're free of the sorcerers for the first time. And Esther, what I think you, as people are kind of being dragged away, I think you're just kind of, you're counted as one of the dead. You're kind of like left amongst the dead. They don't realize that you're still alive. So what's the last thing you see as the darkness comes over you?
So I kind of like the idea that, like, as everyone's leaving, like a couple of members of the Black Hood like just count me as a body, but like they still recognize me as like one of their own, and a past leader, I guess. And so they take me and they just put me in the water to just become part of the earth, and like it's almost like we become this because we go into the water, and so we will finish our life by going into the water. So they'll push my body into the water, take my things. Obviously, it's still a value. There's no sentiment to them, and just put me back to restart the cycle for someone else.
You do, and you drift into the water, and as you drift further and further down, you see in those last moments of consciousness those same things that Kanaloa saw when he was when he was in his vision, and you see the glycine, you see the whole history of the world, and you've done a lot of bad stuff, but you have this sort of contentment at the very end that at least you were right. Like, you still did not do good stuff, but
at least I tried.
Yeah, and the thing that you were fighting for at the end, even if it was the money of the person who believed this, it was true. Like, you were on the right side, and then you're gone.
Oh, that's nice.
And the Kanaloa is back in the palace. with his general by his side, the people looking up to him for inspiration and sort of what to do now. Do you have any particular message for them?
I appear weak and exhausted and dried up. And I think I sink to my knees, right? So if there's like the throne, then there is steps. And right in front of the steps, I turn around facing everybody and give one last longing look at Yestar. Sink to my knees, and my chin sinks to my chest. And I imagine I might be turning into a fully like we have this oxidized copper statue.
Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah, and you are, so they're looking to you for inspiration, and you literally freeze.
Yeah, but it's on my skin.
They come up,
right? Yeah,
and they start reading you, and they start reading all of the words that are imparted on your skin, and it turns into this big religious beatific experience for everyone that's there. Yester, what are you doing during this?
I think that I'm sort of trudging back after all this has happened, or rather, sort of slumping back on Thrum. He's doing all the walking. And, I come into the courtyard to kind of, finally see Kanaloa, and I think that's when I realize what's happened to him.
Yep.
And,
so you get there late, so you didn't even get a chance to say goodbye.
I missed it.
Oh.
And it's just like we're supposed to have this cathartic moment, and it's been robbed from me. And so she sort of walks up kind of shocked and, just sort of like bows down, like, just tips her head down, touches her head to his forehead, just sort of stays like that for a little while. And then finally that, little moment, like, kind of gives one last kiss and then turns and walks away.
Okay. And Hayes, where are you in this? Are you part of this at all?
Yeah, I saw Kanaloa turn into a statue and was about to do something, I wasn't sure what, but then people went up and started reading the text on his body. And I looked around, and then I walked out of the room, and I went back to the beach, got in the boat, and went back to my island.
Nice.
Yeah, you had the choice there. You could have also gone, there's the throne, right?
Nope, not for me.
And I think as you row off into the distance, that is where we will leave the game. Well done, everybody. That was great.
Thank you so much for running it. That was awesome. That was so cool.
That was super good.
That was the best session of this that we've done.
It was just the best.
And thank you very much to Johan for accidentally creating a civil war by murdering the main villain last week.
Yes.
Without which this session was good as well. Brilliant job, everyone. Does anyone have any debriefing stuff they want to do?
I kind of